So, why did Anthony Bourdain kill himself? Well, it may seem unfathomable to us that a guy who seemed to have all the money, the fame, the success, would just hang himself one day. And this could very well be a murder. But anyway, if he did commit suicide, the only person that can legitimately answer the question as to why he did it is lying in a coroner's office in France. Now, you can fly to France, or if you live there, you can go to the coroner's office and ask him. Just don't expect an answer from Mr. Bourdain anytime soon. Let's assume he did kill himself, and let's talk about some of the reasons why. He struggled with drug addiction, and he made no secret about it. He did lots of cocaine, heroin, and LSD in his youth. And he said he originally went to culinary school just so he could support that habit. Again, as you probably know, he was a world-famous chef. He also struggled with depression. He could not communicate very well with other people, believe it or not. I know he had this whole show where it was his job to communicate with people, and he did that whole showmanship communication very well, but showman communication and personal communication are two very different things. And, anyway, it's like, I, just, I'm looking into it. Like, his therapist has come out, said a few things about him, I think, since his death. He said he could barely communicate with his 8-year-old. He could communicate with his 8-year-old daughter, and that was his communication skills with an 8-year-old. And he also, he had several girlfriends and was married I think twice. But he also had a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and won some kind of tournament after starting his blue belt. Getting his blue belt. He married a mixed martial artist, by the way, and had a daughter with her, I believe. That was where the daughter came from. He had an 8-year-old daughter, and he quit smoking. He quit a hard smoking habit because of her. So it's kind of weird. This whole case is really weird. And anyway, could he have been diagnosed with, a terminal illness and decide he just didn't want to live with it? We don't know. Could he have had some chemical imbalance? Possibly. I mean, a lot of things can happen. He could have just been diagnosed with a terminal illness. He could have had a fight with his wife. His daughter could have had a fight with his daughter. He could have, heard something. He could have made something up in his mind. He could have become delusional. He could have been on drugs. He could have felt guilty about something. But anyway, what is also interesting to note is that he self-diagnosed himself as having narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder. If you want to learn more about that, look it up. He could not relate to people, and I guess it could kind of soothe the loneliness by creating this narcissistic persona or drugs. People with narcissistic personality disorder often abuse drugs, be it tobacco, alcohol, or some of the harder stuff like heroin, cocaine, or LSD. And it makes no difference what your drug of choice is, but it may not even be a drug. It could be gambling, it could be porn, it could be sex, it could be anything, really. Just watch that show, My Strange Addiction. You can literally get addicted to anything. But anyway, this man obviously felt very alone. And he could have had a mental illness that was undiagnosed and subsequently untreated. But the reality is that, this is just... Why did he kill himself? I don't know. And no one else on the planet knows except a guy lying in a coroner's office in France. And ultimately, we may never know. to the best of my knowledge, he left no suicide note. And there was no indication that he would kill himself, at least not in the public eye. But anyway, this will conclude my video about Anthony Bourdain. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.